History is full of conquerors, right? But how many of them are famous for putting down their swords? That's what we're talking about today. We're diving into the incredible story of one of India's greatest emperors, Ashoka, and his unbelievable shift from a brutal warrior to, well, a champion of peace. And that really is the heart of it all. How does a brutal conqueror become a champion of peace? Ashoka's story isn't just some dusty old tale. It's this deep, fascinating puzzle about power, about guilt, and what it means to change. So what could possibly flip a switch in a guy who literally built his empire on bloodshed? All right, let's get into it. So before everyone knew him as Ashoka the Great, he had let's just say a much scarier nickname, Ashoka, which means Ashoka the Fierce. And this early part of his life, man, it really sets the stage for the wild transformation that's coming. His climb to the top was, to put it mildly, not pretty. According to some Buddhist legends, he wasn't even supposed to be the heir. So what did he do? Well, the story goes he killed 99 of his own brothers to grab the throne. Now look, 99 is probably stretching it a bit, for dramatic flair, but it tells you everything you need to know about the kind of ruthless ambition we're dealing with here. And the stories of his cruelty just keep coming. There are these collections of legends filled with absolutely horrifying tales. One says he tested his minister's loyalty and ended up executing 500 of them. Another claims he burned 500 of his own concubines alive. And get this, he's even said to have built this insane torture prison known as Ashoka's Hell. Now, a lot of this was probably written later to make his eventual change of heart seem even more miraculous, but still, wow. Every big change in life has a trigger, right? A turning point. For Ashoka, that turning point was a single, absolutely brutal war. A war that would change everything for him and for his entire empire. Okay, so fast forward to the 8th year of his reign, around 261 BCE. Ashoka decides he wants to conquer Kalinga, this really powerful kingdom on India's east coast. And make no mistake, this wasn't just some minor skirmish. This was a full-on, brutal invasion to take over one of the last big territories that wasn't under his control. The level of violence, it was just staggering. We know from Ashoka's own inscriptions that 100,000 people were killed in the fighting. Just let that number sink in, 100,000. That's like an entire city of people wiped out, all because of one man's ambition. And the horror didn't stop with the battlefield dead. That same inscription, it says another 150,000 people were captured and dragged from their homes. We're talking about entire communities, entire families just shattered. And it seems like it was this overwhelming devastation that finally got to him. And we know this because we hear it from the man himself. In his own words, carved right into stone for everyone to see, he talks about his profound regret. He doesn't brag about his victory. He's completely heartbroken by it. This quote you're seeing here, it's pretty much the first solid proof we have that something inside him had snapped. The conqueror was finally facing the cost of his conquest. So out of the ashes of that horrible war, a totally new Ashoka emerges. He starts being called Ashoka, which means Ashoka the Righteous. And this is where his mission completely changes. He's no longer trying to build an empire of conquest. He wants to build an empire of morality. But look, his conversion to Buddhism wasn't like a lightning bolt moment. The evidence we have from his carvings suggests it was a slow burn. In one edict, he actually calls himself an upasaka, which is like a lay follower. And he even admits that for a couple of years, he wasn't all that serious about it. But after Kalinga, yeah, that's when he really started to embrace the faith. His new guiding star was this concept he called Dhamma. And this wasn't just about religion. It was more like a universal moral code. Think of it. Nonviolence, respecting your elders, being tolerant of other religions, and looking out for the welfare of all beings, people and animals alike. This was a totally revolutionary idea for the time, a government pushing for morality. It's almost like a super early version of what we might call secular human rights. And you can really see his journey unfold over time. So in year 8 of his reign, you've got the Kalinga War. Just 2 years later, he's on a pilgrimage to the Bodhi tree, the very spot where the Buddha reached enlightenment. By year 12, he starts carving his famous messages on rocks and pillars all over the place. And a few years after that, he's playing a major role in the Buddhist faith itself. Now, Ashoka didn't just believe in the stuff, he put it into action. He created a whole new group of officials whose job was to promote justice and welfare. He'd go on these long tours to actually talk to his people. He had his moral code carved in stone so it would last forever. And he even sent missionaries to spread his message to kingdoms as far away as Greece. He was serious about this. He also apparently played a huge role in organizing what's known as the Third Buddhist Council, right in his capital city. The whole point was to sort out disagreements within the faith, clean things up a bit, and get everyone organized for the missionary work that would end up spreading Buddhism all across Asia. So, after all that, what was the long-term impact of this amazing change? Let's take a look at the legacy Ashoka left behind. And it's a legacy that was almost completely forgotten, but as you'll see, it's still incredibly important today. I mean, at its peak, Ashoka's empire was just massive. It stretched all the way from what's now Afghanistan over to Bangladesh. We're talking about an empire with maybe 50 million people, making up almost a third of the entire world's economy back then. It was, without a doubt, one of the biggest and most powerful empires on the planet. But here's the strange part. An empire built on peace and nonviolence turned out to be really hard to hold together once its strong, visionary leader was gone. After Ashoka died, the whole thing fell apart pretty quickly. The rulers who came after him just didn't have his vision, and that massive empire just shattered into pieces. And this next part is wild. After his empire collapsed, this giant of history was almost completely forgotten. I'm not kidding. For more than 1,000 years, Ashoka was basically just a name on a list of kings or a character in some old stories. It wasn't until the 1830s that he made his big comeback. A British scholar managed to finally decipher the ancient script on Ashoka's pillars. And just like that, it was as if these stones all across India started talking again, telling us this incredible lost story in the emperor's own words. And Ashoka's legacy isn't just something for the history books. That lion capital you see from the top of one of his pillars, that's the official emblem of modern India today. And the wheel in the center of India's flag, that's the Ashoka Chakra, the wheel of Dhamma. It's a direct link back to his powerful vision. Which brings us right back to where we started. Ashoka's story is this incredible example of how a person can fundamentally change. But it also leaves us with a really tough question. Can a legacy of peace that was born from so much violence really last? What defines him in the end? The brutal way he took power or the compassionate way he ruled? It's definitely something to think about.